Welcome back to MMA Oddsbreaker. Today we're talking to Neil Magny getting ready to fight Tim Means coming up on UFC Fight Night, May 10th in Cincinnati, Ohio. Neil, how you doing, bud?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Good, good. You and I haven't spoken before. This is our first time doing an interview together, so I'm going to be finding out as much about you as the fans are at home.
For sure.
You'll figure out my interviewing style is kind of in your face. I ask the hard questions, or try to. So I'm going to start this off without giving you a softball pitch. Let's go back to the Sergio Moraes fight, which is back on UFC 163. You got submitted by a triangle choke in the first round. And I watched some of your fights beforehand. I watched against John Manley. I watched against Andrew Trace. I saw some of your fights before. It kind of seemed like in the Sergio fight, something just didn't seem like it was clicking. Like something just wasn't all together there. Was there something going on physically or emotionally when you stepped into the cage that night?
Yeah, I mean, going to that fight, it was mainly mental. Before the fight even started, I was already psyching myself out. Like, I'm getting ready to fight a guy who's a world-class grappler. He's won several grappling competitions as a black belt. His jiu-jitsu game is amazing. And I started psyching myself out before the fight even started. So once I got in the cage with him, I never really got to a point where I was ready to execute my game plan or even perform to my best at all. I was more so worried about what he was capable of doing, what he was going to do. I just kind of was like holding back a lot. And then once he got the takedown, I just freaked out. I was like, oh my God, I'm on my back. This is not where I want to be. This guy's a world-class grappler. And I just pretty much ended up giving a submission that would just not be focused and just not being there mentally.
Did you do anything after, once you realized that was the problem, did you do anything after to kind of help out that mental preparation for a fight?
Yeah, my coach, Norland, I had to do a lot more mental preparations, like visualizing things, just go through the motions of it, like just treating the fight like it's a performance that night. So just rehearsing the whole process, walking out there, having the fans like you or hate you, just going through all different things, like worst case scenario that you still have to perform. So just going through that process over and over of like the walkout, the shaking hands with your phone, going out there, touching gloves, and then just getting ready to go and just ready for whatever happens.
Well, then, a couple fights later, you fight Ghassan Alamaltov at UFC 169, and you win an unanimous decision, and you did seem like you're a little bit more mentally present in that fight. When you fought Ghassan, did you start feeling the benefits of doing all the other mental preparation as well as the physical?
Yeah, definitely. I think the mental is even more important than the physical aspect of it. I mean, anyone can go to the gym and train for a few hours, but if you're not there mentally, I mean, you might as well just go home and check out. So the fighting against Ghassan, I was just focused from beginning to end. Like the entire training camp, I made sure I was focused on every detail of training, whether it's like lifting weights or striking or wrestling. I made sure I was just in the zone every moment.
So let's talk about Tim Means. He's your opponent coming up here on UFC Fight Night on May 10th. What do you think Tim's best attributes are when he walks inside the cage? What do you think Tim believes is the best thing he has to give you when he walks in?
I think his best attribute might be striking. I don't see him go for too many takedowns. I don't see him work his ground game very often, but I think he may think that his striking is his best attribute.
Do you think he's going to try to come out there and juggernaut you by coming out and having a big high pace and trying to blast you as soon as the fight starts, or do you think he's going to slow the pace down a little bit and try to take his time with you?
I definitely think he'll come out and start trying to for a knockout early. I don't think he wants to really try to go pace for pace with me, just especially watching my last fight where I was at a high pace the entire time. So I think he'll try to look for a knockout early and just try to control the fight.
If you look at Tim's record, how he wins, he has 15 KOs, 3 submissions, and 2 decisions. So obviously he's a guy that wants to strike as much as possible, as quickly as possible. He's not going to sit around and wait on it. And of your 9 victories, you tend to come more decisions. You have 5 decisions, 2 submissions, and 2 KOs. So obviously you can always go into deep waters. With a guy like Tim, is it better to try to stay in his face the entire time and try to keep it a brawling, grudging match, or are you going to try and keep it more of a sweet science and try to keep it on the outside and force it to go into later rounds?
I mean, going into this fight, I have an advantage in striking, whatever, just because my range is so much longer than most guys in the welterweight division. Even Tim Means, he's a taller welterweight, but I still beat him with over 7 inches of reach. So I'm able to like control the distance, control the pace of the fight, control where it goes, just with my wrestling and things like that. So I'm pretty much be ready for a fight, whatever happens. I'm trying to push the pace early and just control it from beginning to end to see whatever happens, whether it's getting a knockout or submission, just really me controlling the fight the entire time.
For the people at home that don't know, Neil Magny fights at 170, the welterweight division, and he's 6'3". So understand he's basically he's if my memory serves me right, you're about a half inch to an inch taller than Anderson Silva and fight a weight class below. So that's a lot of reach you're dealing with. A very tall, muscular, skinny guy. So you have to understand that when you're dealing with a guy with that kind of range and reach, no matter, I'm a wrestler and I fought the same weight class at 5'10". So I'm trying to jump in on a guy that is 5 inches taller than me and has like a 9-inch reach advantage on me. That's impossible to get through. So Neil spends a lot of time putting guys on the outside. Now, you could get a lot more knockouts, it seems to me, because you have the range, you have the striking ability, but it just seems like that you end up going to a decision. Have you just not found your power yet in your hands, or has it been the quality of competition just won't fall down for you?
It's just a matter of putting it all together. I mean, over the last 3 years, I've worked with 4 different striking coaches, so it's just a matter of like finding the right coach that's gonna have me use my range most effectively. Like for a certain rise fight, I was working with Mark Beecher. For my last fight, I was working with Christian Allen, and it's all just starting to come together now. I mean, working my performance and power and strength with Lauren Landau is helping a lot, but it's just a matter of me putting it all together in order to get that knockout.
Well, Neil, thanks for coming on here and spending a couple minutes with MMA Oddsbreaker. I appreciate it. Have fun against Tim on May 10th. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, guys.